Hi there, Phil from parkerlings.com. Hope we find you well. Just a quick video today on the Amazon rainforest that I have, my little jungle. So it's now middle of September, which means that the temperature's starting to go down. So less sun being available to the plants. So what we need to do, trim things down, let airflow come through, let the sun come through to the tomatoes, other things that we've got going, and hopefully, what little sun there is, we'll get to them and ripen them. Unfortunately, anything that doesn't ripen is just going to have to come indoors, and we'll see if we can get it ripe indoors. So I'll go around and cut things back. I'll show you things as I'm going around, and you'll see the end result, which I am hoping will look a little better than it is now. So you'll actually be able to see the sides, see the plants and everything that we do have around the side. So hopefully that'll be good. I'll even trim those sunflowers down a bit, and we'll see how it goes. Unfortunately though, I do have a slight issue. I've already found that from cutting a few little bits back, and I'm really not too pleased. I know that other people have the same issue, and I know even the pros have the issue as well this year, so in a way I don't feel so bad as they're having the issue, but at the same time I am extremely disappointed because I really wanted things to work out. I did think that everything was good, but you know, that I was getting away with it, but it turns out not as well as I thought I had. But hey ho, got some plants that are good. We've got quite a bit of produce from them, which I'll show you as well after I've picked those, and we'll see the remainder. And at long last, the Tigerella tomatoes are ripe at last. So you know, we'll get there eventually. These things do come. back again, and I finished all of the tidying that I was going to do. I will say that I will never say complete, because as we all know as gardeners, a gardener's work is never completely done. There's always something else left to do. So I'll show you what I have done. Now, it has taken a bit longer than planned, so I do apologise. The plan was going to be pretty simple. The idea, I start a video and say hello. I do probably 2-3 days worth of work in the garden, do another little video, say this is done, then upload it, probably 5 days in total. Unfortunately, that went pear-shaped. Basically what happened is we had 3 or 4 days where it was just constant rain, constant wind, and really, to be honest, 2 things. One, it wouldn't have been nice to show you the garden in the rain because it just wouldn't look great, and 2, frankly, I didn't want to get drenched. So I'm sure you'll understand that in both ways. The other thing is that 4 days ago, unfortunately, I ended up in quite a lot of pain, and I had to go and see my doctor and go into hospital, but luckily I didn't have to be admitted. Basically, my severe diverticulitis decided to flare up again, but I'll say it didn't have to admit me in the end, so I'm at home with antibiotics and painkillers, and it seems to be doing the job. Hopefully a couple more days and should be back to what some would consider normal. I don't think I've mentioned the diverticulitis before, not just because it's hard to say, not to mention spell, but unfortunately one of the things it includes is that I can't eat any fruit and vegetables that have seeds. So certain things I can't eat. Now, one of them, likes of poppy seeds. Now, for some reason or other, everything these days seems to have poppy seeds in it. There's some weird fad that they have to appear everywhere. And also fruit. You really don't realise how many things have seeds in until you can't have them. So blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries, one of my favourites, used to be at least, because the whole thing's covered in seeds. The only way, and I did it once, was to shave the entire skin off of it and just eat a little tiny bit that was left. So yeah, very long process, very boring, very little for it. Though I did enjoy it, I have to admit, after 7 years of not eating any. But the biggest thing of all, I can't eat tomatoes in the same way you can. Now, most of you gardeners can just go outside, lovely sunny day like today, and go and pick a tomato. So let me just do that. And here we go, tomato. And what you do then, think, oh, that looks nice. Let's just take a bite. No, can't do that. I have to get this tomato, get a knife from indoors, slice through the middle, scoop out all of the seeds, and then eat the remainder. So, and all those seeds, all that lovely flavour that contained with the seeds and the goop around them, can't touch it. So, only good side to that though is I can save the seeds and I can share them with other people. But I'm really missing out on that. But I love them enough that I carry on, and other people enjoy them as well. So we all get something out of it, and I get to at least make things like bread out of it as well. And I can put them to guacamole, and of course guacamole you don't put seeds in anyway because it makes it too juicy and wet. So that's at least something I can tell myself. So that's great. Before we go on our walk around, I just want to let you know that I've attached a new microphone to my camera phone. I'm hoping it does work well, because I know there's a lot of feedback that's been coming in through the sound of cars because I'm near a main road, and the airplane's coming over because we're right next to the airport. So I'm hoping this is blocking some of the sound off, and that you'll notice the difference between the first part of the video, where I was doing a little introduction, and what it's like now as I'm finishing off. So let's just hope it does work well. If it doesn't, it's going bye-bye. So let's hope for the best, huh? So here we go, let's have a little walk around. This is raised bed corner, nice and tidy now. Used about 20 odd bottles up while it was a little dry before we had the torrential rain. Yeah, the water bottles now, the empty ones have been put in the recycling. Gives me a bit of room for my kneeler there and a bucket while it's not in use. So we took out some tomato plants, put other ones in. And this here is the Rebecca, which was just sitting next to the one that was flowering. It was a tiny little side shoot of it, and now it's doing really well. This here is a tomato that we started actually off of a sucker. So you can see, as I mentioned before, there's your main stem. There is the, as if the body, that is like an arm, and that is like armpit hair. So that's actually a sucker. So we put that in water, managed to get roots from it, put it in the pot, and that's what we've got from it. A new free plant. So up here, so we've got radicchio. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to finish off or not, but if it does, great. If it doesn't, I've not lost anything. The remainder of the lettuce, and around here, you see these are my runner beans, but it actually did really well because it actually supported a tomato plant. As you see here, it held it up. I didn't need to use string or anything. I did have some on initially, but as you can see, no good. And yeah, it's gone all the way down here, and we've got an almost ready, I say almost ready because there's still some green on the bottom, but almost ready black beauty. And here's some of the beans. As you can see, it's all drying out here now. I was hoping to get them dry, so I'll take the seeds out and use them for next season. So that should be good. But going with it here, you see these, the ones that I left here, these are from the white ladies. So I'll let that dry out. They're too hard now. They'll just be stringy inside. So yeah, down here there's plenty more of those black beauties. So I'll be taking all of this stuff out anyway after not too long. And then all of these can ripen up, and of course we've got two really nice looking ones back there. And down here, that's the marigolds I did from seed, and that's the squash. That there, it was between the tomato plants and the pots, and it's just grown all the way in between, trying to get the sun, and it's gone up right next to the cherry tree here. Be careful not to stand on that, otherwise it will squish off the possibility of any squash growing. That's another marigold. And up here, as I was saying, no flowers, still no flowers. So not expecting anything off that now. That'll just go. And around here, as you can see, I decided rather than just give it a tiny trim, I gave it a bit of a cutback. And you'll see down here, those are the flowers I was talking about. Rather nice. So there's the raised bed to the side. Got some brassicas in there again as well. Hopefully they'll do something. And even little tiny sunflowers amongst all the rather large ones that unfortunately some of them have died back. But there we go. You can see there's still some going. And in fact there's loads over there as well. And let's go around. This is the runner beans. Just kept them up there now just to look halfway decent, pretty much. And come from here. Oh, there's some more of those flowers. So the hydrangea's still there. And now I mentioned that we had those squash before, and here we go. There's one, and there's none. They got eaten. So I imagine it's not rats, because they would normally just chew stuff and then leave stuff with big holes in. But these all went, and I've seen the dogs around here, so I've got a funny feeling Elsa's done her thing again. She has a habit of nibbling things. So her hydrangeas look rather nice, but this one here that had nothing on now has a couple, so who knows? Might get something from it. There's my other hydrangea there. And I did take a tomato plant out and I put that in its place, one of the ones that was in a pot. And there we go, the dogwood. And as it was so boringly green, I moved the Acer in here. As I'll have in one of my other videos, mention that we have more marigolds from seeds. So let's come around here. This is a sweet potato bag I did. I didn't expect anything to work with it, but it's lovely leaves. And I'll do a video on what the results are for UK growing this year of sweet potatoes. So here, this is the magnolia. Never had a flower on it, but now, first time, I've actually got buds. You'll see there again. More buds, there's quite a few. New leaves growing as well. And if we come around here, as you can see then, you can see around, and now you can also see that way. The whole thing is empty for me. So we have here the last courgette. Not sure it'll do anything, but you never know. If nothing else, I'll just have a tiny little one. That is the blueberry bush, all of which has now been picked, eaten, and the leaves are starting to turn properly red. And as I said, I did put some out for the birds, the leftovers, but Elsa has eaten most of those. Yes, there you are, girl. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you. Yeah, I think she's all innocent. Okay, tomatillos, they did alright in the end. We've still got a few sitting there waiting to happen, to be picked. And there are ox hearts, loads of them. Unfortunately, during the weather, a couple of them went a bit dodgy, but I'll just take them off. But the yellow pear tomatoes, looking nice. Now, unfortunately, I'll show you what I mean by ickiness. This is not what I want. Look at that blight. So, lovely plant, lovely, lovely, lovely. It splits to that. That shortly will be hollow. As you'll see here, while this here is nice and healthy, up, 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 and it turns horrible, and that just folds over. That's pretty much, I can flip like that, that's hollow. So she's using the last of the goodness from this, hopefully, to get those ripe. So I'll say some more marigolds sitting around. Unfortunately, yeah, they're the two dodgy ones. Down here we have the golden sunrise doing nicely, and around, well, there's more of those yellow pear, but that's the black cherry, rather nice. Lots to get ripe though. Live in hope that they might still do so. And there we go, that's our sunflowers. So look gorgeous, and every time I'm cutting one off, the next thing down gives you another sunflower, which is lovely. And so down here there's more get stuffed, and we have a purple Cherokee there. There's a couple more behind, but here, as we show you, that's what I mean by needing to get ripe. Quite a few. This is the Acer, of which I've still got this long thing here because I will be doing a video on rooting of different plants, see what can root in water. So down here, this is the sandy mini plum tomato. That's the affectionate name for it because you don't know what it is, and to be honest, that sounds better than what it probably would be. And up here is a properly ripe black beauty. Funny little spotty eyes. And yeah, there's actually only, what, 3 or 4 on there, so they should all be done by now, and I can get rid of that. If we look down here, where there's all this lemon balm, oops, stick myself through a bamboo cane. Look at this. That's rocket. So obviously I must have used some of the compost from the compost bin, which was right next to the rocket, which has now died. So I've still got some, which is fantastic news. So there's the rest of those. As I said, that plant's now dying off for the same reason. And back around here, all these lovely herbs, some basil, coriander, sage. We have lettuce over there, and that's our dahlias. You can see the taller ones are stretching more for the sun, the other ones get sun easily. Just sorting my flower pots out. That's my Christmas tree again. I've got some brassicas which are going to go in at long last once I've removed a couple more tomatoes. That's gorgeous, aren't they? Amaranth. Quite nice. I quite like them as small actually. You can do them large as well. I can take them out and plant them, but give them a couple away. Now this is the where the cucumbers were. I had the last one the other day, and here, this is the rather large volunteer tomato plant. I didn't know what it was. I thought it might be one of those horrible, tasteless tomato plants from the shop, from the compost bin, but it turns out it's not, because if we go in here, that is a tigerella. There's quite a lot of them, and I can only hope that some of them will carry on. Most of them that have flowers won't do anything, but who knows, it's actually quite a nice little corner. And there's our Rebecca. That's the one that we did have standing there. It's doing quite nicely now. We can pick another 2 bits of this, another 2 stalks of the rhubarb, which should be nice. And here, looking very nice here, is the fuchsia. Now I mentioned obviously there's the fuchsias, and we now have the flowers dropped off, and there's the berries, and they'll soon colour through there and make them black. Of course, by getting rid of the volunteer tomatoes that were here, look at all of these will be opened up shortly. Very nice. And our japonica as well, I decided against just cutting it back a little bit. I cut it fully, which means that I can now walk along. And again down here we have ourselves some Morget stuffed and purple Cherokees, doing it beautifully. And we'll go around here, that's the other racer, and we'll see up here, these are all black cherries, still trying to ripen. And if we go around here, love this colour, all the yellows, reds, greens, but again down here you can see that's even more of that horrible blight, where it's really nice growing well, that just turns to rubbish really. And this is as smooth as anything, you can tell there's no furriness on it at all. And then it comes to here where it's nice again, and I want all of that to ripen, so I can hope, I really do hope so. But anyway, oh, almost I almost got myself covered with a spider then, a spider web just there, little spider. Yeah, I'm not going to get you in my clothing or in my face. Did that the other day, walked straight into one spider in the middle of my nose. That's not the greatest plan in the world, but yeah, so as you see, that is now what we got. Those dahlias actually I need to plant again. I keep saying I will and I haven't. That seems to be the story of my life. But there you go. It's quite nice, isn't it? So it actually doesn't look like a complete and utter mess anymore. It's gone from being the Amazon rainforest to more of a standard wood forest. Sherwood forest maybe. There we go. Looking really good. So I'm happy. But I've still got a lot of work to do getting rid of those, well, not getting rid of, but picking those tomatoes and removing some of the plants, and still enjoying all of those absolutely beautiful sunflowers. I'll pick a few and bring them indoors, I think. Okay, we'll end it there then. So I hope you enjoyed this, and job done. Take care. So that is my first pointed pepper. This is a standard sweet pepper. So that's one of the ones that actually was originally green to black and then to red. So it just goes to show you that black is one of the colours it goes to. Got some chili peppers as well, but I had to bring them indoors because the temperature started dropping and the wind and the rain. And here as well, that is a chocolate mini bell sweet pepper. So when I said mini, I didn't think it was quite that mini, but yeah, it's still quite nice. Bit of seed saving, I think. And there are loads of new ones, but I'm not sure if they'll just drop off or if they'll do anything. But I'll be able to save the actual plant itself next year. Give it a go. So here's the final plant I'm going to show you. So here we go. This is nice tangerine chili. And yeah, so these ones went from green to black. They're just blackening now. I think this should hopefully survive. I'm going to have it under the light